Good evening and welcome to the News at 6 here on Rajya TV. I am Tracy Shilshi and this is the show where we get you the day's top developing stories from India or across the world. Let's start with the headlines. Government cancels licenses of 4,470 more NGOs, all organizations barred from receiving foreign funds. Food Safety Standards rejects approvals for 500 products. Majors like Starbucks, Kellogg's and Venky's on the blacklist. Centre intervenes to help crisis-ridden sugarcane producers, approves 6,000 crores interest-free loans to enable sugar mills to partly pay farmers' arrears. Kapil Mishra replaces Jitendra Singh Tomar as Delhi's Law Minister. Tomar moves court for bail. Our top story, in a fresh crackdown on non-profit organizations for alleged violation of provisions of the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act or the FCRA of 2010, the Union Home Ministry has cancelled the FCRA registration of over 4,000 organizations. The list of non-profit bodies stripped of their registration since May also includes several educational institutions including Delhi University and the Jawaharlal Nehru University. In the past couple of weeks, 4,470 such entities have faced action from the government. Besides DU and JNU, the Supreme Court Bar Association and the Escorts Heart Institute have also been affected. While social activists were already up in arms over the move, now academicians are also questioning the relevance of the steps taken by the union government. It must be noted that in the last such crackdown, licenses of nearly 9,000 NGOs were cancelled for alleged violation of FCRA.
NGOs who did not submit their accounts, who did not submit their returns, they were identified even in the UPA government and show cause notices were issued. If the present cancellation is a culmination of those show cause notices, I don't find anything wrong. But to pick NGOs like Ford Foundation, Greenpeace and target them for other reasons, not connected with their activities but for political reasons, I think is incorrect.
I think this is a very strange bureaucratic initiative to try to regulate our international funding system and flow of international support to a variety of organizations. If you find even Delhi University a defaulter or National Law University a defaulter, I think your method has to improve. A better way could have been to give them some time, send them a strong letter, tell them to be on the right side of compliance system. Otherwise you have created unnecessarily a huge task for yourself. Your purpose gets diffused and your message gets confused.
All right, so that's of course some of the reactions that we've got so far. Nothing coming in from the government at this point of time, though, saying that one of the reasons cited for the strong action was actually non-filing of annual returns by many of these NGOs. But however, NGOs are not buying that, saying that they do go ahead to the Home Ministry to file those returns. But as such, there are no guidelines, there's no transparency guidance as far as NGOs are concerned and their filing of returns, and that's where they get stuck. Our correspondent Vishal Daya, in fact, is joining us live from the newsroom at this point. Vishal, give us a sense really what the government is saying at this point of time. What is their justification?
Well, the government has clearly pointed out, Tracy, that as far as the action against these NGOs are concerned, or rather these entities, which also include some, top prominent universities, even Supreme Court Bar Association, Escorts Hospital and several other organizations. The reason behind taking action against them is that, these organizations did not follow the rules and regulations which are stipulated under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. And those, regulations not being followed are reason enough for the government to go ahead and take action against them, to cancel their licenses as far as getting foreign contribution under FCRA is concerned. Now the number is huge. If you look at the number which has been taken in consideration since the entire exercise began in April this year, then almost 13,500 such organizations have lost their licenses. The explanation of the government, justification of the government is pretty simple. They say that these organizations have not followed the rules in terms of filing their annual returns. One, two, several other rules and regulations which are to be followed under the FCRA have not been followed by these organizations.
All right. Vishal, what does the government say? Is this crackdown going to continue? Do we see more NGOs being affected? Vishal, you could hear me again. I was asking, are more NGOs to be affected?
Well, the government has not specified the numbers, Tracy, but then given by the way these licenses are being cancelled week after week, if you look at the last one and a half month or so, then over the course of 4 to 5 weeks, at least 4,470 such organizations have received notices from the Union Home Ministry informing that their license has been cancelled, and prior to that 9,000 were sent the same notices in the month of April. So there is no specific number which has been given by the government, but the justification which has been given by the government, or the reason which has been given by the government, specifically the MHA, is that those organizations which do not follow the rules and regulations which are stipulated under FCRA, those organizations will face this particular legal hurdle, and their licenses will be cancelled. So all in all, one cannot say safely that the exercise is over, but then once again, as to how many other organizations will face such action is also not specified by the government yet.
All right. For the moment, of course, over 13,000 NGOs being affected at the moment. Thank you so much, though, for joining us, Vishal, with those details there. Meanwhile, amid the controversy over Maggi noodles, the National Food Regulator, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, or FSSAI, today rejected the approval of about 500 products. Some of these products are marketed by majors in the field like Starbucks, Kellogg's and Venky's. Here are the details.
More foodstuffs are joining Maggi noodles on the blacklist. According to the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, 500 products have shown unsafe lead levels. The names include some hot consumer favorites like a few Starbucks coffee varieties, a Kellogg's cereal, poultry products from Venky's and the Ranbaxy multivitamin Revital. Reports said the products contained high levels of sugar, caramel, salt or heavy metals, caffeine and even iron fillings. However, a few companies said their products were blacklisted on technical grounds and not over safety issues. Meanwhile, Gujarat on Wednesday banned Maggi instant noodles, which is still under scrutiny for high levels of lead. Health officials at the Rajkot Municipal Corporation said results showed the product to be harmful.
परीक्षण के मुताबिक आज जो विचारे चार के रिजल्ट आए वो सभी फेल होकर आए और मानव के लिए हानिकारक डिक्लेयर किए गए। उनकी बात करें तो जो मैगी के नूडल्स में जो लेड का जिसका नियत परिणाम 2.5 ppm से उससे ज्यादा मिला है और साथ में उसमें मोनोसोडियम ग्लूकोनेट भी मिला है जो भी प्रोहिबिटेड है।
A spot check in Uttar Pradesh revealed that the lead content in Maggi was 17 times the permissible limit of 2.5 parts per million. Besides lead, MSG was confirmed in the samples. Maker Nestle India have however said it does not add MSG to the noodles. Several other states like Maharashtra, Bihar and West Bengal, Haryana, Punjab and Himachal Pradesh say they are testing the noodles. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
In other news now, former Delhi Law Minister Jitendra Singh Tomar was today taken to Faizabad in Uttar Pradesh. Tomar has been investigated for allegedly forging his graduation and law degrees. Even though Tomar claims his degree is genuine, the Awadh University in Faizabad has said he was never enrolled there as a student.
A day after being arrested and remanded in judicial custody for 4 days in a fake degree case, former Law Minister of Delhi Jitendra Singh Tomar has moved a sessions court. In his plea, he alleges that the arrest was in violation of the prescribed procedure under law.
This order is illegal order because the formalities of arrest which are required as per law, they are not followed in this case. So the order of granting custody, the question was not arising. So this was wrongly given.
Earlier in the day, Tomar was taken to the Awadh University in Faizabad for an on-the-spot verification and questioning. Tomar claims to have obtained a BSc degree from the university, but the varsity maintains Tomar's degree is a fake one.
उन्होंने जो सेट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट लगाए हुए थे, उस सेट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट से रिलेटेड कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन विश्वविद्यालय के डॉक्यूमेंट्स में मौजूद नहीं है। ये उनको ऑलरेडी सूचित किया जा चुका था और यही आज भी विश्वविद्यालय का कहना है।
Meanwhile, back in Delhi, opposition BJP and Congress were up in arms against the Aam Aadmi Party government. Hundreds of Congress supporters led by DPCC chief Ajay Markan staged a protest march outside the Delhi Secretariat demanding the resignation of Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal.
The moral responsibility lies with Arvind Kejriwal. It was he who selected Jitendra Tomar for candidate. It was he who made him the minister, despite fully knowing that he has a fake degree. So he has so many things to answer. And how can we expect the law minister now has gone, the chief minister who always used to protect that law minister, to be fair when the trial goes on. So in order to have a free and fair trial, Kejriwal also should resign.
निश्चित रूप से ये सारा का सारा नैतिकता का, मोरालिटी का जो सवाल है कि हम बहुत स्पष्ट हैं, हम साफ हैं, हम नैतिक हैं, हम सबसे ज़्यादा क्लियर हैं, ये सारी की सारी बातें केवल एक राजनीतिक लाभ उठाने के लिए केजरीवाल साहब करते रहे हैं, लेकिन वास्तव में जो व्यवहारिक चीज़ है वो उसमें सब कुछ अलग, उसका कुछ अलग ही दृष्टिकोण है.
The Delhi police is now also probing the possibility of an organized racket behind the alleged fake degrees obtained by Tomar. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Meanwhile, the AAP government has appointed Kapil Mishra as the new Law Minister of Delhi. Mishra is an MLA from Karawal Nagar in northeast Delhi and served as the Vice Chairman of the Delhi Jal Board. Mishra's appointment comes a day after Jitendra Singh Tomar resigned following his arrest in that fake degree case. Mishra will also take additional charge of the tourism portfolio. Alright, with that a quick break here, but still ahead, details of the Indian Army's Myanmar operation. Details of that in a bit.
Another round of action against NGOs. Top universities, hospitals, other bodies, among 4,500 entities hit this time. Is the crackdown justified, and are there more in the line of fire? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya television.
म्यांमार में सेना का जॉइंट ऑपरेशन. मणिपुर हमले के जवाब में हुई बड़ी कार्रवाई. देश के दुश्मनों को करारा जवाब. देखिए पहली खबर, मुंहतोड़ जवाब, आज शाम 7 बजे.
Welcome back. Now, the government today approved a 6,000 crore interest-free loan to sugar mills to help them partly clear the cane price arrears to farmers that have touched about 21,000 crores. The decision was taken in a meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs in New Delhi.
Crisis-ridden sugarcane farmers finally getting some relief from the central government on Wednesday. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approved a 6,000 crore interest-free loan to sugar mills. This will help them partly clear cane price arrears to farmers that have touched about 21,000 crore.
करीब 6,000 करोड़ रुपए जो किसानों का गन्ने का भुगतान करना है, उसके लिए सरकार ने उसके लिए पैसा उपलब्ध करने का निर्णय किया है. ये लोन मंजूर करने के बाद बैंक डायरेक्टली जनधन योजना में जो अकाउंट किसानों के खुले हैं, उन डायरेक्ट अकाउंट पर मिलने दी हुई लिस्ट के अनुसार डायरेक्ट पैसा उनके पास जमा करेंगे.
Gadkari said the centre has taken many measures to help the farmers, including the increase in sugar import duty to 40%, providing an export subsidy of 4,000 per ton on raw sugar and increase in ethanol prices to promote its blending with petrol. India's sugar production is estimated to cross 28 million tons in 2014-15. stating that the cost of raw material is more than the end product. Gadkari said sugar prices had fallen to 22 per kg from the earlier 34 per kg. The centre will bear the interest burden of 600 crore from the Sugar Development Fund. The CCEA has also decided that the loans will be provided to those units that clear at least 50% of the outstanding arrears before 30th June 2015. This is the second time that the centre is providing interest-free loans to cash-starved mills. In December 2013, the UPA government gave interest-free loans of 6,600 crore to make payments to cane farmers. Arvind Kumar Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Alright, now as details of the Indian Army's Myanmar operation emerges, it's clear that it was a well-planned and well-executed operation. 38 insurgents were killed by the Indian Army commandos, saying it has a zero-tolerance policy towards terror and terrorist organizations. The government lauded the army for the work done.
These victorious commandos of Indian Army's Special Forces have every reason to be proud, for they have executed a perfectly planned operation inside another country. 38 insurgents from the northeast were killed and 7 others were injured in the surgical strike carried out deep inside Myanmar on Tuesday.
चुनौती तो है और चुनौती को हाथ में लेते हुए जो काम किया देश हित में, वो देश वाला सब मिलकर के उसको हम लोग को इसको सैल्यूट करना चाहिए, सेना के जवानों को और जितने भी लोग इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं. ये प्रक्रिया है, बहुत बड़ा इसमें एक कोऑर्डिनेशन का आवश्यकता होता है.
Of course, it is a big day for the Indian security forces, the Indian Army, the special forces, and it will boost the morale of the Indian Army soldiers and the officers. But today's operation proves that anybody who harms India or wants to harm India will have to pay a very heavy cost.
The plan for this first-of-its-kind operation was chalked out hours after insurgents ambushed an army convoy, killing 18 soldiers in Chandel area of Manipur on June 4th. The plan got the Prime Minister's clearance on the night of June 7th, soon after his return from Bangladesh. During the intervening night of 8th and 9th June, Special Forces personnel were airdropped deep inside the Myanmar territory. The airdrop was close to the camps of the militants. The strike began at 3 p.m. on Tuesday.
These attacks were to be carried out by some of those groups which had been involved in attacks on security forces personnel earlier and some of their allies. And based on the intelligence that had been gathered by us, we conducted operations to counter these attacks.
The successful operation has been lauded by one and all.
It is good that we could, eliminate the militant sources in Myanmar, because the Myanmar government and the Myanmar army was friendly with India. That is why we could do that. And, probably the same operation, I don't know whether the government of India will be able to carry out in Pakistan.
Lauding the army, the government has said it has zero tolerance for terror and terror organizations. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, former CBDT chief KV Chaudhary was today sworn in as the new Central Vigilance Commissioner. President Pranab Mukherjee administered the oath of office. The swearing-in ceremony was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and senior BJP leaders. Chaudhary is a 1978 batch Indian Revenue Service officer and has been serving as advisor to the Supreme Court appointed Special Investigation Team on black money. He will be the first non-IAS officer to head the CVC. Meanwhile, Vijay Sharma, the senior-most Information Commissioner, was also sworn in as a Chief Information Commissioner by the President. Among Sharma's priorities will be to check vexatious petitions and clear the mounting backlog of cases. Meanwhile, Bihar's ruling party, the Janata Dal United, has set up a war room ahead of assembly polls. This on the advice of a former aide to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Senior JDU leaders KC Tyagi and Pawan Verma will be among those in charge of that war room. Setting up of this room is one of the many ideas suggested by Prashant Kishore, the man who assisted Modi during the 2014 Lok Sabha polls. Among the other suggestions Kishore gave to JDU leaders is one asking them to have a balanced response when allegations are hurled against the party. He also suggested that the party's media cell be spruced up. Maratha strongman Sharad Pawar has been unanimously re-elected as the president of the NCP, a post that he has occupied since he founded the party in 1999. The 74-year-old leader's re-election was declared at the party's 6th national convention. Pawar's nephew and NCP Legislative Party leader Ajit Pawar, though, was conspicuous by his absence at the meet. Sharad Pawar was elected unopposed as no other name was received for the post. The meeting coincides with the 16th anniversary of the party's foundation. Pawar, along with Tariq Anwar and P.A. Sangma, formed the party after splitting from the Congress on the issue of Sonia Gandhi's foreign origin. After his re-election, Pawar said that his party's aim was to protect the interests and work for the welfare of youth, women, minorities and backward classes. With that, let's quickly take you through other national news updates. Caught in the middle of the cash for vote scam, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu will meet Prime Minister Modi today, this evening in fact. Naidu is likely to demand a probe into the scam. 50 FIRs have been registered by the Andhra Pradesh Police against Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao for alleged illegal tapping of phones of his Andhra counterpart. The Madras High Court has rejected the appeal of the Maran brothers against attachment of their property by the Enforcement Directorate in the Aircel Maxis deal case. The court rejected Kalanidhi Maran's plea against an ED order attaching properties worth 742 crore rupees owned by him and his brother Dayanidhi Maran. Lawyers today stayed away from the Calcutta High Court as part of a 3-day cease work, citing hot and humid weather. The lawyers' action has caused harassment to thousands of litigants and prompted the Chief Justice to term the action irritating and painful. Despite judges being present in their courtrooms, no cases could be taken up for hearing. And still ahead, international news, the US is to send 500 more troops to Iraq to fight the Islamic State militants. Details after this break.
Hottest topics.
If you can facilitate the opening up and the expansion of the international border trade, you can add to the economy.
370 धारा जो है वो जम्मू कश्मीर को मुल्क के साथ जोड़े रखती है.
Candid confessions.
The Congress has not been able to communicate.
We have to revive our links with the masses.
World-class healthcare is available to only a handful of people in this country.
Causing controversies.
A lot of leaders today think that they rule by divine right.
Now, media has become manageable.
Watch RSTV engaged personalities to the point. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m., Thursday, 1:30 and 5:30 p.m.
Welcome back. International news now. US President Barack Obama is planning to approve the deployment of more troops to Iraq to fight the Islamic State militants. The report comes just the day after he said that the US lacked a complete strategy to wipe out the IS. Besides sending additional troops, the US will also set up new training base in Iraq's Anbar province. At present, there are nearly 3,000 US military personnel, including trainers and advisors in Iraq. US believes that a lack of training of the Iraqi forces is a major factor for the fallout. Despite the US-led coalition strikes, the IS has made significant gains in Iraq. Meanwhile, 2 more people died in South Korea after contracting MERS. The total death toll has gone up to 9 with 108 confirmed cases. South Korean officials said the outbreak has entered the 3rd week and was in its most critical period. Meanwhile, South Korean President Park Geun-hye postponed her US visit to oversee the MERS outbreak in her country. The WHO team is investigating the spread of the disease. The outbreak is the biggest outside the Middle East and has no known cure. Well, let's give you some more international updates in Global Buzz. Russian President Vladimir Putin is visiting Italy to meet officials and Pope Francis in a symbolic show of statesmanship. The visit comes after his latest snub by the G7 that reaffirmed sanctions over Moscow's actions in Ukraine. Pope Francis, though, has declined to join the West in condemning Moscow for its actions in Ukraine. Egyptian officials detonated a suicide bomb in the city of Luxor near the ancient Karnak temple, one of Egypt's most popular tourist attractions. 2 assailants were killed, while no group has claimed responsibility for the attack. At least 20 people were killed in a series of bomb blasts across the Iraqi capital on Tuesday. The deadliest explosion happened on Palestine Street in eastern Baghdad, where a car bomb blew up near a restaurant and killed 9 people. The blast also wounded more than 10 civilians. The Iraqi government forces backed by Shiite paramilitaries regained control of most part of the oil refinery town of Baiji after months of intensive fighting with the militants of the Islamic State. Military sources said the troops retook control of the governor's office building and the main mosque. And now let's get you the latest from the world of sports. Zimbabwe Cricket today confirmed that India has agreed to tour Zimbabwe for a limited over series featuring 3 one-day internationals and 2 2020 internationals. India will reach the African nation on the 7th of July and leave on the 20th of July. However, the BCCI is yet to issue a statement regarding this tour. The bidding process for the 2026 World Cup was postponed amid corruption allegations around the 2018 and the 2022 tournaments. Swiss prosecutors are currently investigating alleged financial irregularities in awarding the events to Russia and Qatar. Sami Khedira will join Juventus on a free transfer from Real Madrid on the 1st of July. The World Cup winning German midfielder has agreed for a 4-year contract with Champions League finalist Juventus. Khedira joins Real from Stuttgart in 2010 and has won the league, Copa del Rey and the Champions League with the Madrid outfit. And that's all we have for you on the news at 6. The news continues after a break. Stay with us.